Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, friends and families. We are here to join Michael and Melissa in matrimony. We are so privileged and honored to be able to be part of this special day. On behalf of Melissa and Michael, they want to thank you all for joining them. So during this special day, by your presence, you celebrate the love they have discovered in each other, and you support their decision to commit themselves to a lifelong relationship. You may be seated. So those of you who know Michael and Melissa, they're city dwellers who decided on a beautiful nature setting. It reflected their own view of their relationship, a relationship rooted in serenity and a sense of natural spirituality. Of course, if you know Michael and Melissa, serenity is only part of who they are. More recognizable would be the laughter, the loud voices, the continuous dancing, some of it good, some of it energetic. The energy these two bring into this world has touched so many lives across the globe, from France to Kenya, from Australia to Spain, and across the U.S. As individuals, Melissa and Michael were dedicated to learning about life and sharing their passion and positivity wherever they traveled. And finally, in Atlanta, the two paths less traveled, they converge at the heart of one of the busiest intersections in America. The intersections of these two is a true love story, magical like a fairy tale, yet profoundly real and rooted in the world we live in. Any of us who has been fortunate enough to find and express the kind of loving devotion that we are celebrating here today knows that it is an awesome and beautiful thing. So, this understanding brings me to the first of a handful of thoughts on marriage that I will offer you today. So, who you are is often a product of where you've been. Is there a good time in your adult life to ever get married? Now, hang on, before people get upset. Let's think about this. Let me explain. Is it at 20? Is it better than 40? Is it 25 better than 30? Is it after 60? I don't have the answers to these. Yet at the same time, the answer is different for each of us. What I have always loved about Mike and Melissa is that they have a sense of self and who they are. They're very independent and know what they want. They have life experiences that allow them to see the world not through rose-colored lenses, but as it actually is. These life experiences allow them to enter marriage not as an idealistic venture to be conquered, right? But rather as a collaborative partnership to be explored. They have no unrealistic expectations that the other person will fundamentally change just because they think they'll change. Mike. Oh. They each accept each other's individuality, and they lift each other up. And I love that about the both of you. Life experiences make us who we are. Our conscience is formed and molded over time. Our souls develop, and our sense of being changes through wisdom. Now, when I think of marriage, I think of one of the greatest movies ever, The Princess Bride. It's a dramatic comedy that tells a tale about love and the lengths that the couple will go through to be together. So for those of you who are not familiar with it, at the beginning when Buttercup asks the farm boy Wesley to do various chores, his response each time is, "As you wish." So this is his way to say, "I love you." Let me ask you, the congregation, how many of you would interpret if your significant other or your child responded to you when you asked them to do something with, "As you wish"? I can honestly say that it would not go over very well within my household. Yet, it is all within the interpretation. This is their form of communication without having to verbally say, "I love you." We each have our own way of showing love to each other. Love is more than just a word. On my iPad, I keep a running list of quotes that I love to turn to. And when I see something that speaks to me, I kind of write it down. Sometimes it's even things I get to kind of get inspired, but often it's what other people say. And I'd like to share some of these quotes with you and just allow a moment of just reflection as we go through each. So the first one is, what is needed in marriage is that emotional connection that helps us to see each other's soul. Once that happens, all is right in the world. Now, Josh Noam asks about joy. What is joy? It's not the same as happiness, which depends on external conditions. Joy is an inner reality that shines regardless of what is going on outside of us. It's a confidence that things are right and good, and even when they don't seem to be. It manifests in a smile on a sunny day and as courage on the rainy ones. Now, Dr. Cecil Osborne writes, how desperately the growing child needs praise, recognition, and affirmation. These are aspects of love. Perhaps 1 in 100 years, a person may be ruined by excessive praise, but surely once every minute, someone dies inside for the lack of it. And I see that praise within both of you. Remember, stressed is dessert spelled backwards. Brene Brown explains how to be calm, try to be slow to respond, and quick to think. Mark Twain writes, dance like no one is watching, sing like no one is listening, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. And I can honestly say for the both of you, that is all I have ever seen. And let me finish by wishing you peace in your marriage, joy in your heart, and laughter in your home. I now invite Roderick Taylor to come forward to read from 1 Corinthians.
This scripture reading is taken from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. If I speak with the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. But as for prophecies, they will come to an end. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will come to an end. For we know only in part, and we prophesy only in part. But when the complete comes, the partial will come to an end. When I was a child, I spoke as a child. I reasoned as a child. But when I'm an adult, I put an end to childish ways. For now, we see in a glass dimly, but then we will see face to face. Now I know only in part. Then I will know fully, even as I have been fully known. And now, faith, hope, and love abide. These three. And the greatest of these is love. Here ends the reading.
A successful marriage is not something that just happens, right? It's something that we have to work at. It takes patience and it takes time. It takes a commitment from the both of you, a commitment to do whatever to make that relationship thrive and to not just simply survive. So Melissa, turn to you. Will you take Michael to be your lawfully wedded husband and travel the road of life, the rest of life's road with him? Will you love him, laugh with him, comfort him, honor and protect him, and forsaking all others, be faithful to him as long as you both shall live?
I do.
Now, Michael, will you take Melissa to be your lawfully wedded wife? Oh, the beauty of the scripts. And travel the rest of life's road with her. Will you love her, laugh with her, comfort her, honor and protect her, and forsaking all others, be faithful to her as long as you both shall live?
Indubitably, I do.
Wonderful. So, Louis de Bonnier once wrote, "Love is a temporary madness. It erupts like volcanoes and then subsides. And when it subsides, you have to make a decision. You have to work out whether your roots have so entwined together that it is inconceivable that you should ever be apart. Because this is what love is. Love is not breathlessness. It is not excitement. It is not the promulgation of promises of eternal passion. That is just being in love, which any fool can do. Love itself is what is left over when being in love is burned away. And this is both an art and a fortunate accident. Those who truly love have roots that grow toward each other underground, and when all the pretty blossoms have fallen from their branches, they find that they are one tree and not two." I invite Elspeth Brotherton Irvin to come forward and read a poem written by Melissa and Michael and inspired by this quote.
As the flower migrates towards the sunlight, I will follow you, from the break of dawn to the moonlit night. So as the tide comes to greet the fullness of moon, I will become your shadow, and you my earth's moon. For today we are planting a beautiful tree that will grow and thrive with us eternally. You will give it water, and I will give it sun, so that its blooms continue to blossom as the seasons come. And if its seeds should fall and new tiny trees appear, we will love and care for them as they grow and flourish throughout the years. Our love will grow strong, burrowing deep into the soil. As we grow old together, the more our roots boil. So that even through life's toughest tempests, withering droughts, and the most destructive quakes, we shall weather it all. Strong roots bend, they do not break. Moments become hours, and hours become years. But we will not falter. We will keep each other near. And though ages will come and memories will fade, our love, like the flower greeting sun and the tide greeting moon, will transcend any age.
That was a beautiful poem. I love that you guys wrote that. This day is an occasion which blends traditions and originality, which ties two unique individuals into the community of married people. Melissa and Michael will now proclaim their love for each other, each of their own way, and their desire to join into marriage. Melissa, we welcome you to share your proclamation of love with Michael.
I know, without a shadow of a doubt, that we are right where we belong. And as I reflect on our past, bask in our present, while laying tracks toward our future, I fully realize just how blessed we are to have found one another. Today and forevermore, I will take pleasure in and be forever grateful for knowing what it's like to be fully loved and loved fully. Our love is a love without boundaries, without judgment, no pre-qualification. It's a love for who I am, love for who you are, and most importantly, love for who we become together. Our lives are now and will forever become a common thread, intertwined and folded into the most beautiful expression of ourselves. Now, I know not every day will be rosy. We will have our crashes, ebbs, and flows. But this I do know. If we continue to practice patience, we will always meet halfway. If we continue to gift each other kindness, we will always catch each other's best light. If we continue to practice compassion, we will see in each other the imperfect person with whom we fell in love. If we insist on finding empathy, we will always find our way back home. And if we extend hands of forgiveness, our two will always remain one. I remember the day I met you, Michael. It was a beautiful summer day. We sat near a window at Emily's Bakery and had a sandwich and coffee. 3 words come to mind: nervous, passion, and laughter. You spoke passionately about your time in Kenya and your affection for teaching the children you taught. You spoke about your large, beautiful family and all of your little nieces and nephews. And there was certainly lots of laughter, plenty of nectar, and also plenty of nervous laughter. But what was at first a nervous laughter, over time became a laughter that clearly stems from an authentic joy of life and all the people, both big and small, in it. To know you is to love you. And I fell willingly and happily each step of the way. From your love of children, to your faithfulness to your friends, to your commitment to family, to your fervor, and then eventually commitment, even for me. Your passion for life and all of the people in it inspires me every day. So today, I stand before you, Michael Joseph Starks, before God, before family, before friends, in this peaceful, calm place, out here in the woods, to shamelessly profess my unconditional love for you. You have taught me to live vibrantly, to breathe life into every precious moment, to enjoy the stillness and to be present for the action, to live more mindfully and to love fully. I stand before you today, fully embracing your love and your laughter. Here is my promise to you. I promise to laugh with you. I promise to be joyful with you. I promise to guide and be guided. I promise to receive correction with an open heart. And I promise to give direction with a gentle hand. I promise to put our relationship first. I promise to listen. I promise to share triumphs, challenges, and defeats as one. I promise to be compassionate, to practice empathy, and to meet defeat when I'm wrong. I promise to respect for you.
Sorry. I didn't want to make sure I heard that.
I promise to respect you. I promise to respect you as a man, as my husband, and maybe even one day as the father to our children. I promise to walk with you faithfully each step of the way.
As he gets y'all might have noticed that we like to talk a lot too.
You don't say.
Now, Michael, we invite you to share your proclamation of love with Melissa.
Today, on our wedding day, we find ourselves deep in the search for life's meaning. We are saying to each other, together we can live our lives, or we can give our lives more meaning than we could apart. In the beginning of writing these vows, I had a lot of ideas I wanted to explore. I thought about how love gives life perspective, how it's a beginning point to embrace life. And then I thought about how there might be bigger questions, bigger moments. What about compassion and sacrifice? So what about anger and frustration? And sometimes a good life means making the hard choices about doing the right things. I had lots of questions, and I lacked a framework for understanding, a way to make sense of how I viewed you and our new life we were building together. Yet everything came together a few months ago when we attended a funeral of a mother of a good friend of yours. And it's the defining moments which give clarity. And the people who came forward at that funeral painted the most amazing picture of an amazing woman. And they continuously talked about the legacy that she left as a mother, as a grandmother, as a friend, as a mentor. And the preacher, oh boy, how he could preach. And he left us with a quote that we'll never forget. And it is, "The barrel of a good woman never runs dry." It was a really powerful quote. And yet in this moment, when we're committing our lives together, how do we build a life that others will look back on and say, they were good people and their barrels of love and compassion never ran dry? Marriage is a commitment to an uncertain future, to a time of change where we won't always have the answers, won't always know the perfect decision. D.H. Lawrence wrote, "Go deeper than love, for the soul has greater depths." There's more than just being rooted in love. There's being rooted in a lineage. Our ancestors, our parents, our families, even our community. And now, the two of us. In that, recognizing that if we want to grow as one, we need to understand that there's something deeper than being in love. Love requires a wholeness of self. A person must be whole enough in themselves to step out of themselves. Or, as Deepak Chopra likes to say, the secret of attraction is just be yourself. Just love yourself as you are. And that acceptance of self is rooted in something universal, a purpose and a meaning that transcends us as individuals. When you're younger, you imagine that love is like a tree, and the warmth of the sun enters the leaves and gives energy to the roots. So you chase after rays of sunshine. Yet, of course, love in the larger sense is the opposite of that and flows from the roots. As the Chinese sage Suzhou said, "For the mature person, the Tao begins in the relation between man and woman and ends in the infinite vastness of the universe." During this proclamation of love, knowing that each of us is whole individually but committed to becoming whole together, I commit myself to the following proclamations. I promise to support you so you can share your goodness with the world. I promise to continue learning about love and relationships so I can love you better. I promise to never let your barrel run dry, knowing how to speak to your heart and soul through my words and, most importantly, my acts of service. I promise to treat marriage as a lifelong commitment and to have the discipline to mindfully attend to improving the marriage through continual practice. To wake up and recommit each morning with a big smile and a kiss to making us more whole. And finally, if we have children, I promise to not let them eat food off the floor or eat dirt unless you have given me prior written consent. And I know this one is very, very important. So on this day, we begin our journey together, rooted in something bigger than ourselves. Today, we embrace the past and run towards the future with hearts and minds wide open. All of this and more, I promise to you, Melissa Sue Taylor. take my hand in yours, dear. It is the time, dear, to say I do. From here we go on together, always together. I will be by your side. The only thing that'll change, babe, is our love will grow stronger as we grow together. Family and friends are here today to support us in all we do.
So, for those of you who don't know, they wrote that song. And last night, Simon, my youngest, and Shannon, they were serenaded to Mike as they were just listening to that song as they were falling asleep. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And I just have to say, when I see the both of you, we talk about joy. And I see it and I feel it. And it emanates from every part of your beings. And when the first time I met you, Melissa, and you were hanging out with Mike, Mike is a giver, right? Mike is just, he wants to be a romantic, he just loves things. And to see somebody give all of that back to him. And I knew that there was something special between the two of you that just I had never seen before. And it is such a gift to be able to be around the two of you as we do that. So at this time, we're going to do the ring blessing ceremony. Marriage is not an experience left solely to the couple. Marriage is an interweaving of families and communities. Michael and Melissa each stem from generations of interwoven families. Today, we unite the families of Starks and Laker with Taylor and Atkins. With this new joining, the blessings and well wishes of both families will serve to further solidify the bonds these two share. Wedding rings are solid objects. They are symbols of perfection, a perfect radiant circle, yet they come from humble beginnings. Rocks are dug up from the ground, metals are liquefied, shaped, and painstakingly polished. Something beautiful made from something raw. Love is like that. It is made perfect by perfect beings. It is the process of making something beautiful where there was once nothing at all. At this time, we will pass around the bands to be blessed and warmed by each family member. Melissa and Michael, you're like rings, right? You're shaped, you're made perfect by the family and the community around you. May your blessing shape them as they commence their new life together. So to last, the marriage of these two must be a consecration of each to the other and of both to the wider community of which they are part. I would ask everyone to please rise. Will you who are present here today surround Melissa and Michael in love, offering them the joys of your friendship and supporting them in their marriage? If you consent, please say, "We will."
We will.
You may be seated. Melissa and Michael, it is now time to make the pledges which will marry you. I, Melissa, take you, Michael, to be my husband. I will share my life with yours and build our dreams together. Support you through times of trouble and rejoice with you. In times of happiness, I promise to give you respect, love, and loyalty. This commitment is made in love, kept in faith, lived in hope, and made new every day of our lives.
I, Michael,
take you, Melissa, to be my wife. I will share my life with yours and build our dreams together. Support you through times of trouble and rejoice with you in times of happiness. I promise to give you respect, love, and loyalty. This commitment is made in love, kept in faith, lived in hope, and made new every day of our lives. We will now exchange the rings. Melissa, with this ring I thee wed.
Melissa, with this ring I thee wed.
Michael, with this ring I thee wed. Melissa and Michael, you've declared your love and purpose before this gathering. Therefore, it is with great joy that I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may seal your vows with a kiss. Go for it. Steve, why don't you come over and help her down? Ladies and gentlemen, the bride and groom invite you to make your way to the shuttles so that they can take you to the reception hall for refreshments and appetizers.